In this video, we are going to discuss about the carbon dioxide casting process. Any casting we would like to produce which will be having very close tolerances and it should able to give the good surface finish. Even we would like to cast the components which are having very sharp corners or the complex geometries. Always scientists have tried to minimize the time taken for the casting process. In order to achieve these things, the strength of the mold which we are going to create, it should be more. The carbon dioxide casting or the molding process is the one which is used to harden the molding process. These are the steps involved in carbon dioxide molding process. Basically, here we are using pure silica sand and we are going to add 3 to 5% of the liquid sodium silicate with it, and we add coal dust or the wood floor in order to increase the collapsibility. All these three ingredients are conditioned in the Muller. So once the sand is mixed and we obtain the conditioned sand, then we prepare the drag and the mold. We take the drag, in that we will keep the pattern, then we will fill up this with the help of conditioned sand. After that, we are going to ram it uniformly throughout the flask. Once the ramming is over, then we are going to make certain vent holes inside the sand so that the carbon dioxide at a pressure of 1.4 to 1.5 kg per centimeter square is being supplied into these sands. And remember, the time for the supply of the carbon dioxide is around 15 to 30 seconds. Once the carbon dioxide passes through this molding, which has been having a sand and the sodium silicate, both will be get interacted in order to form a silica gel. Silica gel is the one which gives the very strong bonding between the sand particles. In this way, the hard mold we are going to get it. The hardness of this mold is several times more than what we get it from the sand casting. The next step is you have to take out the pattern out of the mold, and similarly we need to make another part of the casting, that is cope and drag both. So after removal of the patterns, we are having two mold cavities. Now time to assemble these two. Once the assembly is made between cope and drag, we make necessary arrangement for the supply of the molten metal such as pure, gate and riser in it. Then we are going to pour the hot metal into the cavity. So after the pouring, we wait for the solidification. Later we will break the molding in order to get the component out. So this is the different steps which are involved in carbon dioxide molding or carbon dioxide casting. Let's look at what are the advantages of this particular process. The first advantage is that this operation is very speedy and the removal of the pattern is easy. As we know, there is no need to bake the sand, as in within 15 to 30 seconds the sand will become very hard. And second thing, as the mold cavity is hard, it is easy for us to remove the pattern, keeping the cavity intact. Next advantage is that we can achieve the very close tolerances on the components which we produce, and surface finishes also obtained is better than the sand casting processes. Next advantage is, as I already mentioned, there is no need to have any kind of baking action. The process is being simple and a semi-skilled person can handle this process. The evolution of gases will be get reduced 1/3 when compared to the green sand molding or the dry skinned sand molding process. This is the biggest advantage with the carbon dioxide molding process. Next advantage is that so we can have a uniform sand in cope and drag. The next advantage is that there is a less possibility of distortion of the mold and the core. So next advantage is while pouring the sand, it does not flow along with the metal. And we can make use of the conventional tools in this particular process. Limitations of this process. The first limitation is that there is always a tendency for the sand with silica base binder to hair hardness if it kept long for a longer period. Next disadvantage is that sand mixture is costly due to the use of binder and additives. Due to hardening of the mold and the core, the collapsibility is very less. So there is less possibility of reusing the sand. Otherwise, the reclamation cost is more when compared to the sand casting processes. So finally, the disadvantage or the limitation is that lack of any cheap method to recover the spent sand. So thank you for watching this particular video.